episode number 545. My name is John Morgan, and cold coffee is with me. I'm just kind of limping in today, man. We look like a ragtag bunch of dudes getting together. You're bandaged up over there, man. You look like you've been out in triage over there. And
yeah, they got me.
and me, you may get a random sneeze or a cough. I've got a bottle of water here to try to prevent anything. I don't know if it's allergies or if I'm sick, so I'm going to try to keep my distance over here a little bit.
Yeah, you got that Atlantic City flu or something.
I got a little something. It's just annoying. I don't feel terrible, although I'm a little like kind of shorter breath and congested a little bit.
Your voice sounds thicker than normal.
I was speaking to somebody on the phone earlier, and I was like, I'm sorry if I sound a little different. I was like, I think I'm a little ill, so I was like, I apologize for that. And they're like, oh, you still got that radio host voice. You're good to go. I was like, all right, well, that's all I need to know. So anyway, I apologize for that.
Yeah, that'd be weird if you got sick and your voice got all like high and like, hey guys, I'm sick. Like you sound like Mickey Mouse or something.
Would that be? I'm sorry.
This is what I get when I get achoo.
That was a good little Mickey Mouse cough there. That was good. Yeah, you mentioned Atlantic City, man. CFFC 145 was this past weekend. Fun card. Hope everybody got a chance to tune in and watch it. Got to have my wife and kid with me out in Atlantic City, which was fun.
That's cool.
It was fun, man. There was one night, I mean, I will be honest, I was more tired than normal just because I didn't want to disengage from all of my work activities while I'm there, right? You got your work family and the things that you need to do, and that involves some socializing because, you socialize and you talk and you plan and all that. And I didn't want to be that guy that was just like, all right, guys, well, my wife and kid are here, so like I'm just not around this time. So I still wanted to do that, but then at the same time, my wife and kid were there, and so you don't want to short in them and just be like, well, hey, guys, I know you're here, but I'm on a work thing, so, you guys just kind of entertain yourself, you know what I mean? So bottom line is I was burning it at both ends, and I was definitely tired. But there was one night where I was actually, because we were in like a little suite or whatever. My son was sleeping on the couch, and my wife was sleeping in the bed. And I didn't want to really like have all the lights on and bother him, so I was just kind of like sitting on the floor in the bedroom and like getting some work done or whatever. And it was funny, and I felt kind of weird out, but I looked up and I had this like weird kind of moment of peace where it was just like, man, this is cool. Like I'm working, but I have my family with me. I'm on the road and I have them here, and I get to wake up to them. So as sappy as that might be or sound weird, it was just kind of like this nice like peaceful moment to be like, and they got to see. So when I come home from Atlantic City and I talk about, I got to go see this, or I got to go do this, or we went over here. Like they can actually relate a little bit, you know what I mean? So it was fun. And Atlantic City during the summertime is fun, man. They had been there during the winter before, but Atlantic City in the winter, I mean, it's still nice. I mean, the Hard Rock is an amazing property. It's fun.
Always nice on the inside.
It is.
Regardless.
It's always nice on the inside regardless. But when you can go out to the beach and you can go out on the pier and have fun.
Do the Ferris wheel.
Bro, so they did the Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
My kid also, there was one where like it's like you sit in a chair and the chair is like attached to a pole basically, right? And then the thing spins around like so that you're spinning, I guess, like on an axis like horizontally, but then the pole also spins as well, so it's going up and down over an axis. You know what I'm saying? So you're doing like a loop, but it's also spinning a loop. So he got in there, and there's no way you're supposed to do this. So I don't know if they just didn't see him or what, but he held his phone with both hands like right in front of him and ran the video on it the whole time. The footage he got is sick because it's like drone footage, except it's like spinning around and upside down, so it's all flipping around. But like, 1 second you're looking out at the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, and then it switches back, and now it's like, combing the beach over there and the hotels, but then you're spinning at the same time. It was pretty funny.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, as long as I imagine it was all good as long as he just didn't drop it.
I know. I was like, dude, didn't you?
That's probably more it that they're worried about something like that, a phone flying out, whatever, as opposed to, you broke your phone.
Oh, they don't care about that. No, they don't care about that. They care about it hitting somebody and then being liable or whatever. That's why, like, I know there's no way he was supposed to do that, but it came out pretty good. So
that's cool.
And they also the showboat that's right next door, which I never really. Before, because I used to come in late because I was just doing commentary, so I was like, last second in, first second out, and I never really got to wander around. The Showboat is an old hotel casino there that doesn't have gaming in it anymore. They basically elected, like, hey, man, we'll leave the game. I don't know if they lost their license or they just decided against it or whatever, but they turned it into, like, a family destination. So it's got, like, a big arcade, and it's got go-karts in there.
Oh, shoot.
And,
that's crazy.
Yeah, so my kid was driving the go-karts every day. My kid, he's super into it. He actually found, we're actually going to go check it out this week. There's I think it's over on Decatur. There's a place called like K1 Speed that has like a race league. Like you race like once a month. And I want to say it was only like $60 a month or something like that. But my kid's like, I'm gonna save up my money. He's like, I'm gonna pay for it myself, and I'm gonna do it. So he's getting super into like cars and driving and stuff. So
that's very cool.
Good trip overall with the family. Dean Thomas, working with Dean Thomas is awesome. Like, Dean's just great, man. Obviously, his mind for the game is unbelievable. And I'm telling you right now, I don't know how many people know who Morgan Worth is for the UFC. Like, she's been behind the scenes for a lot. She's done a little bit in front of the scenes where she does like Road to the UFC. She does UFC BJJ. I'm telling you right now, man, this girl is sharp, bro. Like, not only is she good on camera, but she writes all of her own segments, and she nails the storyline. It's so great. Like, she'll send me a script ahead of time of like, hey, here's what I was thinking. We'll tell her like, hey, we're thinking about let's do hits for these fights because these are kind of athletes that we had featured going in, so we'd love for you to pay that off on the broadcast by talking about it. And she's like, and I just tell her that right there. And then she comes back with a full-on like script and nails the storyline exactly, like gets all the data points, does more research than even I do. She's solid. So I think you're gonna see like more and more continued work for her with the UFC as well. Obviously Megan O'Leary is fantastic, and but I don't know if motherhood will pull her away or whatever.
I think it's already got her away from it right now. I think that's why we saw Heidi Androl back in the rotation.
Karen Bryant was getting some spots on it.
Charlie. But yeah, no, that's good, and it makes sense. I mean, they need to, and I mean, at some point, I'm sure Megan would love to make a transition to a desk or something along those lines. I think she always wanted to go that route anyways, and just, they kept her in the role. But, yeah, I mean, right now she's enjoying herself doing the mommy thing.
And I know she's about to start the NFL season as well.
Like, she gets real busy with that, too.
But I will say, and obviously we've known Megan for years and years and years. And, look, they're fortunate. They herself, Joseph, they've done well for themselves. They can probably travel with their child as well. I mean, they travel a lot together. Yeah. But there is something to be said as your kid gets older for like just wanting to stay home a little bit more.
And right now it's at that teeny tiny stage right now. But
they just go along. It's nothing. They're just there and they sleep. So.
But yeah, that's pretty cool.
Good stuff.
No, that's good. That's good for Morgan. Yeah, everything I've seen, I've always appreciated that. I thought she did a good job.
Really, really sharp. For anybody that didn't get a chance to see it, Richie Lewis looked fantastic in the main event. Looks like he's really developing well. Hands are getting a lot better. Obviously, he's got the wrestling base, so great win for him against a tough guy in Benny Orozco who fought well but just came up short. Nick Galante had a good win. Might be finding himself in a title shot very soon. Pushed to the very end against a tough Ty Guerter. Didn't settle for the decision, which I like that. I mean, when you're getting a third-round TKO in the final minute, I love that, right? You're showing that you're pushing it to the very end. Like, you're clearly ahead on the scorecards. You can kind of coast if you want, but you don't, right? You keep pushing, you get the finish. And I talked to him afterwards. I was like, man, at least, you knew you were ahead. You're good. I could have seen you kind of coasting in. He's like, hell no. Like, I'm getting finishes. So I love that. And Buserman Jumagul, that dude is, man, really, really good, man. 4-0 now, 4 first-round finishes.
Yeah, he's sharp.
21 years old, 6'4" as a welterweight. Like, that dude's going to be a problem.
Yeah, he's not going to be around for long in the old CFFC.
No, I think we got to get him a title shot soon because they're going to snatch him up to the UFC. Carly Jo Thomas beat an undefeated Annabelle Kelly. So I like Carly Jo Thomas a lot. Jeremiah Delgado is, if you didn't get a chance to watch the broadcast, is a 20-year-old kid, right? But you talk to anybody in the gym, and they'll tell you just how good he is, right? Like, man, this kid is the future. He's been training. I think he's been training at Marquez since he was like 11 years old or something. So he's one of these guys, right, that's just been in the gym from the beginning. Had an undefeated amateur career, all finishes, and everybody that rolls with him is just like, dude, it's not a joke. Like, this kid's good. And so it was pro debut, and he was matched up with this guy named Tyler Berger. And I'll be honest, when we put the matchup together, I didn't know who Tyler Berger was, and I started doing my research on him. And he was a 3-time All-American wrestler at Nebraska. I'm like,
oh, wow.
I'm like, guys, we put a 20-year-old debuting professional against a 3-time All-American at Nebraska. Like, what are we doing? And it was a hell of a fight, man. At one fight of the night, they went back and forth. Split decision. I thought Jeremiah Delgado won the fight. I will say that I did hear people of both opinions that thought it could have gone either way. So, but it was a great fight, and he's a great talent. So that was a lot of fun. It was just a fun weekend overall in Atlantic City, man. So good stuff.
That was a mouthful.
It was. I got to give a little recap. I got to sneak in a little recap of CFFC 145. Yeah, no, I'm not lying. I'm a little short of breath right now, which is a little bit weird to start.
That's all right. We'll make it a shorter episode. Anyways.
Yeah, I've been sitting at home and I've just been kind of quiet, and I didn't realize that. So now that I sit down and start talking, I'm like, whoa, this is not easy. there was a lot going on this weekend, so I missed most everything that happened on Saturday. Obviously, and to be honest with you, leading into these shows, weigh-ins, producing the videos, just getting your notes ready, just all the little small things going on. So I kind of miss everything, right? But Sunday, I was flying back. Did have the family with me. Was exhausted. But I did watch CJI 2. I watched the second. Yep. Did you end up making it out at all?
I did not.
Do you watch it from home?
I watched it from home.
So I did watch it. It was interesting, right? Because I'm a big fan of Craig Jones personally. Like, I think he's hilarious. He's a great marketer. And I've always enjoyed, just shooting the shit with him anytime we're around or whatever. Yeah. And the Craig Jones Invitational 1, I thought was one of the greatest grappling events ever put together. It was a lot of fun, right? This one, and again, I only watched day 2. I didn't watch day 1, although I heard day 1 was pretty ho-hum from everybody. I mean, they were even talking about it.
I kind of heard that as well. So I was, even from a lot of the media that was there on site, they were like, the day 1 wasn't as fun as day 2,
I thought day 2 was good. I did think it was a step below day 1, or a step below year 1. CGI 1. I thought it was a step below. And so it kind of had me thinking, like, number one, Gable Stevenson did absolutely hose Craig Jones, right? Like, that was going to be a huge focal center point. And, I mean, look, I'm never going to second-guess someone's injury, right? He says he's injured. I'll take him at his word, right? But you can also see why LFA and UFC Fight Pass would not want him to potentially lose a grappling match right before he makes his professional MMA debut, right? I mean, it's two totally different scenarios and two totally different sports and all those things, but you don't want him coming off a recent loss. You want to talk about the gold medalist and et cetera, and all those things that Gable Stevenson does. So you can see some motivation. And I will say, I don't know, I find it weird to say, like, hey, I'm too injured to take a grappling match, but I'm not injured enough that I can't fight in MMA. You know what I mean? Like, a couple weeks later.
Much harder.
Which is much harder and much more at stake, right? Yeah. In a grappling match, you're risking having to tap out, and you have to put that look on your face like, oh, damn, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
Whatever. You move on, right? Whereas in MMA, you might get knocked unconscious, and that's the scary part of it. That's why there's so much more tension around it. And again, I know there's a couple weeks between it, so you could say it would heal, but turf toe, which I know is kind of a silly thing, but I remember when you start learning about turf toe and the injury, like, it doesn't heal quickly. It's
it's persistent.
It's persistent. It doesn't heal quickly. So I don't know. Again, I don't want to second guess. The man says he's injured, but that did obviously take a huge shine off of this, right? And props to Chael for coming in and doing what he did. I will say, you knew Chael's not coming in for a competitive match. It's kind of like, versus Gabby Garcia, right? You know what I mean? Like, they're not actually going to have a full-on competitive match, right? Like, Chael isn't getting off the couch and coming in and be like, I'm going to take out Craig Jones, like one of the best. But I thought they'd have a little bit more fun, a little more theatrics, a little bit more.
Yeah, I thought it would just be competitive, and it wasn't. I mean, I think Chael, either trying to shock him with that first sort of just run in there and grab him, then he positioned himself into that. I forget what the
buggy
position.
Choke.
Yeah, buggy choke that got him and literally put him to sleep.
Did he really go to sleep?
I think he was out.
I thought he was faking.
No, I think
you think he was out?
I think it happened so quick.
And the thing with Chael is you can't ask him because he'll never tell you the truth. Like that.
Well, that's why. And then he kind of came back too, and that's why I think he wasn't thinking clearly, and like, let's do it again, because I think he came
I only watched it once.
No, I think it was quick. I think it was there long enough that would put him out.
Right.
I think it's like one of those sneaky ones, and I think this is the difference of an amateur or a guy that knows how to do a buggy choke does a buggy choke as opposed to a guy that is one of the best grapplers in the world doing that move.
Right.
Maybe you don't fall asleep as quickly when it's the one guy versus the other. But, I mean, he was in that move for a decent little bit, and then I was just like, oh, my goodness, like, he's not moving. Like, Chael would tap. I just assumed Chael was like, I'll go out on my shield and go out, But then to go back in there and pretty much it was the same exact move, I think, that put him out. I thought, I don't know, I thought there would be more of a defense for it. I just felt like we saw a guy that did what Chael did when he got pulled off the couch, stepped up, saved the card, but was not ready to compete against one of the best guys in the world. If you put Chael in there with a lot of other people, maybe other guys on the card, he would have probably did a little bit better. Maybe if it was somebody a little bit more undersized, but to go in there and fight a guy that's been doing nothing but grappling and jiu-jitsu nonstop.
Impossible.
you were in a bad
That's why
spot.
I thought they were just going to have a little bit more fun with it, or it would go like they would just.
The fact that they let him go a second time was the fun.
That is true.
The fact that they almost went a third time before John McCarthy's like, we got to stop this madness. Like, you just got put to sleep twice, bro. Like, stop. You know, it was getting bad because it was just going to happen again. And then I'm just glad they didn't try to like humor the idea of going against Gabby. That would have just been. It was just. There were other parts of. I thought the team competition was interesting. I liked how that was going. I thought that was nice with them picking the different stuff. I thought the matches were good. Even the drama going down to the very end.
Right.
Thought that was a little interesting, but I mean, I still agreed kind of if that's the scoring method, the last match did go that way, but you could definitely see on the face of the opposing judge or team coach that was just like
confused.
Bro, and he also felt like, well, that was really skewed. If you know that the last match is going to be, if there's a draw, that the last match is going to be the linchpin, wouldn't you just save your best dude for the last match? No,
100%.
Regardless,
But to their credit, they said that was the rules that were laid out ahead of time, and the other team just knew better.
I think they just assumed they're like it's not going to go to that, But there were just some other things in the event that I was just like, made it hard to watch, like the little interview sessions with that guy that was trying to be funny, and then he'd interview. Some of the people. He interviewed Jocko Willink, and I thought he was very disrespectful, and I thought he wasn't funny. And I was like, I was hoping Jocko would just sock him. And then when Gabby got in there, he was being weird with her too, and I was just like, what are we watching? It was just really, really weird. And then at the very end, the live concert was just that dude playing guitar with
that was bizarre.
The mixing board.
That was bizarre.
I was like, oh, is that I was like,
that's the concert.
And then the guy, I think he came out at the very end.
They only had like a chorus repeating over and over.
Because I think the guy came right out before they went to black. I was like, maybe he's pissing. But it was like the same thing with like when he was up there doing the thing before. It just kept repeating the chorus.
Stuck in my head the other day. Now I can't remember what it was. They played it over and over. I'm glad.
With good reason.
I'm glad
it was not.
No, so you're right. So one thing I thought was like the fact that Craig Jones didn't get on the mic after his match, I think probably showed his own frustration with the event. Maybe I'm wrong in reading into that, but the fact that he didn't do an interview, like that's kind of his stage. It's named after him. You would think that he would want to at least just be like, guys, thank you so much for coming. We had a lot of curveballs, whatever.
Well, you figure, too, they went back to the team stuff after him.
Right.
So maybe he thought like it would be anticlimactic to give the big, hey, thanks for coming when they're not done.
I can buy into that.
Because I thought about that a little bit. I was like, is that it? And I was like, oh, wait, no, they're going back into the team competition, the final part or whatever.
Yep.
So
I can buy into that.
So maybe he didn't want to make it sort of like, hey, you're going to leave now or whatever. But he could have, maybe. But I think
you could be like, thank you so much, and still, we've got the main event to come.
And Chael was still trying to petition for another go, and it was just sort of weird. I think he was at a moment he was like, let's just get out of this and get to the competition.
That's what I kind of was thinking is that like, man. It's just hard when you only do one event a year, right? Like, because if it's because it wasn't bad
payout.
Oh my god,
the money that they're giving, and then so was it because of day one that they started doing the 50,000 bonus? Is that
day two? Because day one was
not good, right? I mean, to be able to pivot like that, kudos to them for that. Like that is huge. If you had however many matches, and then all of a sudden you're going to say we're going to give you a 50,000 submission bonus. Bro, you have to have some that can add up really quick.
Did you see that they gave the other team $1 million as well at the end?
No, I didn't.
Oh, yeah. They came out after the fact and they're like, you know what? Because of the confusion, I feel like what's right is right. We're giving them $1 million too.
Well, that's awesome.
So it's crazy.
Yeah.
But you're right. I mean, the
that's
money
a lot of money.
So I know they can only afford to do like one a year, but I'm just saying like that's
tough. Really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. They came back and like, hey, it was kind of confusing.
That makes me feel a bit better about how the weirdness at the end.
Yep.
Because I felt like the other team, while you could tell there was a confusion, I felt like they felt like, oh man, that was some shenanigans. You got Ricky, Nicky Rod getting another whatever.
How does that work out?
Yeah.
No, so they did do that, but I guess the thing that I thought about is that it's just such a challenge when you only have one event because if it's a little bit subpar, and again, it was still a great event by all stretch. I mean, it was one of the premier events in grappling. It just wasn't quite last year, and there were a little hiccups here and there. It's a challenge when you only have one event because, like, the UFC, you have a bad card. Hey, we got another card next week. We'll get this right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
CFFC, we have a card that's maybe off. We're like, well, we're back in a month. Let's hope we deliver a little bit better next time around.
Yeah.
man, when you only have one, you got to wait a year, and then you got to go like
Yeah.
sell sponsors again and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and it's going to be a challenge to keep this thing going, man.
Yeah.
I think so.
I definitely like that. I mean, when you think about what that was and some of the video packages, you got to see his personality. And if you're a fan of him, I think you will definitely support, the event.
Definitely.
I think if you're a fan of grappling, you'll support it because just the structure was really, really cool. Just to see the different sizes that you were seeing, you're like, this is unreal. You'd see these giant dudes just dominating, then you'd see these smaller dudes pulling off really good stuff. So it's very, very impressive in terms of, getting good quality jiu-jitsu out there. And I did like the fact that you got to see some of his personality that I can see where some people be like, dude, do you really want to start your walkout where you're mimicking that you're doing lines of coke in the bathroom? It's a unique change,
Yeah.
decision. That's a power decision that somebody was
Yeah.
like, but I was like, that's him,
That's
I can
him.
definitely see where if there was more corporate sponsorship, they might be like, okay, bro, we want to have some leeway into what packages and maybe that you want. And maybe he's like, no, I'm good without giving up all that to keep it where I can keep it fun or whatever. So there
And I'm
was some
sure
unique
and
stuff.
I gotta believe he would say that too.
I think so, because for him, I mean, like that, people, I remembered it. And here we are talking about the walkout as opposed to just getting whatever, So it did what it needed to do, but I can definitely see where some people are like, what? But when you think about like a UFC Fight Pass, a UFC Fight Pass
They're not gonna
Invitational,
want that.
they would never ever do that
No,
sort
no,
of
no.
thing. They won't joke around. They won't. To them, they're trying to create something that they think the direction of what the jiu-jitsu could go to and what future grapplers were aspired to. While there will be some of the, I think maybe older kids can look at the Craig Jones, see that and be like, yeah, the UFC stuff, that's kind of stuffy. But Craig Jones, you see that shit? You're like, that was like wild. So there's definitely going to be people that are drawn to that, and I think there will be people that are drawn to both of them. But again, it was good. I mean, it gave me something fun to watch. I mean, I didn't go, but I'm glad I didn't because I was like, once I was here, I was like, I felt like that would have been a shit
Sure
show.
is comfy
after.
from home.
Yeah,
Sure is comfy from home.
But it was cool. It was cool to watch it. So yeah, I would like to see. If they could get the funding, I definitely think the space could afford to have 2 or 3 of those in the year. I think there would be eyeballs to watch it if they were able to do it.
I did end up getting a chance to watch the debate or listen. I watched some of it on YouTube. I listened to the rest of it with Craig and Mikey Musumeci. That Demetrius Johnson kind of was the mediator for.
Oh yeah,
and it was interesting that obviously they're two polar opposite human beings, and they're in polar opposite organizations, and so I thought they both made some really great points. And the one that Mikey made that was interesting is like, you're bringing money to the sport, but like really only like 2 guys got it last year. You know what I mean? Like everybody else, it's so if what UFC is doing can bring like stuff all year long and elevate. Maybe that's better. So anyway, it's good. But it was fun to watch, and it was, man. There was so much going on. I know Dirty Boxing happened on Saturday night. I saw some of the clips from that. The Real American Freestyle was able to debut as well. So a lot of combat sports outside, even with a non-UFC week. But back to UFC this week in Paris, France for what looks like to be honest with you, man, I think a really good card. UFC Fight Night 258 from Paris. Really good card, and just throwing it out right now. European events, man, the UFC can move their base of operations to Europe if they want, bro. Like 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, we get fights. You know what I mean? Like I get to wake up, put on some coffee, and start watching fights. Main card at
just
noon.
coffee.
Dude.
I found out that I could drink 9 a.m. tequilas this past Saturday. The first one down it was
'cause you
really
had the
tough
Ohio
because the
State,
Buckeyes
Texas?
started at 9 a.m.
9 a.m. So you're doing shots tequila at 9 a.m.?
No, tequila and soda water and a lime.
Oh.
I was a
Health-
gentleman.
health kit.
Yeah, I was like, let me just sit. I was like, the idea of shooting shots of tequila at 9 a.m., I would have been like, no, I'm not
But
ready
see,
for that.
That is
By
why.
the end of drink 5, I could have been ready to shoot shots.
That is why I will never leave Las Vegas, because if you want to shoot tequila at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning, ain't nobody going to look at you funny
what
at
took
all.
you so long,
Yeah, God, you know what I mean? Like,
we've been open all night. We could have did this hours
I
ago.
love Las Vegas. Like, there
Yeah.
is no judgment.
There
You
was
just
no judgment in the room. I was like, this is good to go.
Packed
And it
house?
was fun. What's that?
packed house for it? Or?
It was pretty decent.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, by the end of it, there was people standing, couldn't find any seats, so that's always good. So I got over there about an hour, half hour, 45 minutes before start time, maybe more about half hour, and got one of the few stools that were left. So I'm glad I went there, but it I should have known that being such a big game, I was like, I should have treated it like it was like
Right.
the playoffs or the final.
So I was like
And,
I think it was the highest rated week 1 college football game in history.
It's huge.
It's amazing.
It
Was the game any good? It was only 14-7, right? Was the game
It was
good?
it was all defense.
Yeah.
Like I think you have two quarterbacks that are still feeling themselves out
Right.
and getting used to it. You know, they're Arch Manning, huge name, come big family or whatever. It's a great big program, but I thought the defense looked good. But no, both teams are solid.
Yep.
It felt like it was more of a defensive game with reason. You know, like there were a lot of different schemes and stuff that the defense was playing, and they're playing a lot more. I think they were playing some prevents and stuff as opposed to really just always blitzing and trying to get a bunch of sacks because of who this Manning kid is and what he's capable of. But no, it was good. It was good, and of course I was glad that we are on the winning end. But honestly,
Ranked number one now, right?
Yeah, number one. It's like I said before. Either team could recover from like this.
Yeah.
You know, like if I think if somebody's like, oh, you know, Texas isn't what we thought they were. Like
Especially
they are
with the playoffs
a good team.
now. There's no reason not to take chances like this early. Like
Yeah.
I get it, the way the system used to be set
Yep.
up. You want to have the most cupcake non-conference schedule you can
Yep.
because you don't want to risk any injuries, any losses early that knock you out.
Yep.
But now that it's 12 teams getting in, I think they're trying to get even more.
Yep.
Like, dude, have these big games early. Like, your program's going to love it. You know, in
Yep.
those early days of fall, your alumni are going to come out and they're going to have a big game. And on top of that, it's a silly thing, but almost like in an MMA career, we like get tested early in your career.
Yep.
Get tested early in the season. Don't get comfortable.
Yep.
You know, we're playing Appalachian State or whatever. You know
Which
what I mean? Like,
those games used to mean something, and they
Yeah.
were fun, you know, because you were giving some love to these programs that were making more money on a game than they would ever make in the rest of the
fund
season.
their whole program off that one game.
So it was all like it served a purpose. But yeah, you're absolutely right, and especially on this one where we're starting the season, it's like, hey, you know, why start the season thinking like, well, do I really need to watch football this Saturday? They're gonna be playing, you know, they're slow
72
playing
nothing.
it. Yeah, and it's like, but no,
Starters
hey, we're
only
gonna have
playing.
1 and 3 play right off the top, and
That's
you're like,
cool.
let's go.
Was
So yeah,
cool.
it was good. And there were some upsets of other ones, but yeah, I mean,
all right, well, challenge laid. I'm gonna try to get rid of this sickness, and I'll just start shooting tequila at 9 a.m. this week, and I'll let my wife
well, if you
know.
come over here for game, it's only $5.
I'm gonna let
It
my
was on
wife know.
special. It was on special. That's why I was. It's not like I was like, it's 9 a.m. Let's start drinking tequila. But I would look at their specials, and it was beer, something else, and like tequila. And I was like, well, I don't want to drink beer. I was like, let's do tequila for
Bro,
$5.
you ain't gotta justify it to me.
You're right. I don't even know what the type of tequila it was.
But
it
in
was
fairness,
silver. All I know is that it was silver.
I'm the same way. I will customize. Like when I go someplace, if there's a happy hour or something, whatever it is, that's what I'm drinking. Like I don't care what it is. Whatever the deal is, give me that.
Yep.
I know I'm gonna be having more than one, so
Yeah.
let me make sure you get a deal on it.
It gets funny because they were like they were starting to get a weight. I was like, I'm just gonna tell you, if you're walking around and it looks kind of like low, I'm gonna ask for one. I was like, so if you
So
just
just
want to
bring it.
proactive, just bring it. I'll take it. I'm not gonna say no. You shouldn't have brought that. I promise you.
That's amazing. I think what I used
Sometimes that works. Other time they're like, bro, everybody fucking says that. I'm not doing that.
I think back in the day before it now, not that I don't still enjoy a frosty beverage or two here and there, but back before my son was born, and I used to, you know, sit at the bar for hours. I think I used to hit up B-dubs, and I used to tell the bartenders that. I was like, look, man, just keep them coming. I was like, until I fall off the bar stool, and I was like, and then just bring one more in the check.
Only one?
Yeah, just one more.
You're so infamous. Like that was always like, well, get one more and then the check, or like two. Like on occasion,
I always
I'll get two.
Again, I
Because
don't do this anymore.
by the time they finish they take the tab, I'll be ready for another one.
That's the move right there, guys. I'm laying it out there. I haven't laid this out in a while. I haven't followed this in a while.
Yeah.
But back in my more frequent days, yes, when you get the check, order two, because you're going to be drinking one, and you might be done with it by the time they walk away, come back. Now, this doesn't apply to our European friends where they bring the credit card terminal to you. You know what I mean?
Unless you really
want to.
Yeah.
But, you know, in the United States, you know, they take your credit card and they walk away with it. And, you know, they might get distracted. And next thing you know, your drink's done.
Yeah.
And then you come back. Like, no,
I'm thirsty.
I'm
I could have had another one.
I like to just finish that last drink, set it down, and walk out the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's something to that. So that is funny. I haven't done that in a while. That was my move for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
That was my move. All right, UFC Fight Night 258 this weekend. Really good card. A nice mix of, you know, European talent with obviously some meaningful fights at the top of the card.
Yep.
Some newcomers that are coming in that are pretty highly anticipated, especially follow the European scene at all. But the main event is big. We know that it's kind of, I don't want to say a tournament, but kind of we've been talking about it, right? It's whoever comes out of these two big middleweight fights looking the best is probably going to get Khamzat Chimaev next. I did get a chance to watch the media day stuff this morning. Nasruddin Imavov, as you would expect, I think all but one question were in French, so can't really get anything out of that. Completely understandable. There's no need for them to translate everything to English when it's French media speaking to a French fighter. So just didn't get anything out of it.
Yep.
But I did really enjoy the Kyle Bahayo session. He's number one, and we've seen it forever. But as he gets higher and higher up the ranks, like his star power is just there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's just got like a swagger to him. He's fun. He's engaging. He was. Did you get a chance to watch his media session?
I did not, because the Junkie Radio Boys interviewed both of them, so I produced those and watched those yesterday. So yeah, no, I didn't.
The funny thing was, I think it was kind of the reporter asking in his second language, because he's a French reporter and he's asking in English, and he's kind of talking about this whole middleweight title situation. And he basically was like, well, out of the four names, like, you're the least deserving of the title shot. So like, how do you fix that? And he's like, I'm the least deserving. What do you mean? And I think it was just a subtle nuance of it being like, as it stands, you're the lowest ranked right now.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, but it's like when it's a second language, you don't get those little nuances. Like, even 17 years later, me and my wife, sometimes she'll say something. I'm like, "What you say?" And she's like, "No, I didn't mean that." You know what I mean? It's those little subtle nuances. So anyway, he got kind of a little bit pissed off at that. He's like, "Oh, I'm least deserving of the title shot," you said. And he kind of came back at him, and I felt a little bad for the reporter because I don't think he meant for it to be offended. And I don't think Kyle was like super offended either, but I think he just wanted to play with it a little bit, And so that was kind of funny to see.
Funny.
And then he started. And again, you see this, like, the intelligence and the research. Like, he starts, and I can't remember if somebody brought it up or he brought it up about the comparison of like Brazilian soccer and French soccer, because French just won a couple of World Cups, and they're the last time they the last time they played in the final, France won and all this. But like, Kyle just starts trolling him. He's like, "We have 5 World Cups. You have 2. Well, we didn't talk about. That's no discussion." He's like, "When was a French player ever the best player in the world?" He's like, "How many times has a Brazilian player been the best?" So he's trolling him on soccer. And then at the very end, like right before he gets up, he's breaking out like French history. He's like, "Guys, last thing here." He's like, it's likely like as he's walking out, he's like, "Last thing here." He's like, "Nasruddin Imavov, like, I know he's your guy, but like, he's Russian, right?" And he's like, back in 1803, it was Russia that defeated you. He's like, "So I don't know why you guys are supporting the." He's like, "I'm here to liberate you." You know what I mean? It's just like,
that's awesome. That's good.
I was
nice.
like, this is great. So he was playing all these little narratives and playing fun and having a good, and he just has star power. It's fun, and obviously the fighting nerds have the thing going on. He had the meta glasses on. They didn't have the tape yet on him, but he was like, "I'm going to put the tape on the meta glasses. They're going to look good." But anyway, it's a big fight. I'm fired up for it. Again, didn't get to hear much from Nasruddin. It was all in French, but I'll be honest with you, I think Imavov is one of the, we've talked about over the years, I think he's one of the most underrated guys in the division.
Yeah.
But I'm leaning Ohio here.
I went with
You went with Ohio?
I did. But a lot of the staff, like all the other guys that are tied with me there's 3 of us tied at the top.
Tied at the top right
Nolan
now.
and Mike, they went Imavov. I just
So
right now
big main event.
Bahayo just fighting the way that he's, both of them are fighting incredible. But I mean, like, if you ain't, looking at his record, I mean, he hasn't lost in the UFC until that team, that swagger. I mean, I know he's taken that role of being like the leader of that team. I just feel like he has everything capable to step up to this, and I kind of leaned on the fact that Imavov might have that pressure of being there and having that home crowd as I'm that Russian dominated from the 1800s crowd. But no, I think it's gonna be a fun fight. But honestly, both guys, Bahayo, I think this is his first 5-round fight, maybe. So there is that, and
I didn't factor that in.
While Imavov is, he tends to tire as rounds go on. So. But I even went so far to try to look at like the altitude level, down in Brazil and stuff is actually a little bit higher, but it's pretty much even to where it is in Paris. Because I was wondering if there was going to be
he went 5 last time out, by the way. Cannonier, he did go at 5 last time out.
Did he go 5?
Yep.
So, yeah. So I feel pretty good that Bahio has what can be done. I think he's better if it gets to the ground.
Yep.
I think if Imavov can keep it standing, then there's some questions. But I mean, I don't think that Kyle a slouch on his feet anyways.
No.
So who knows? But I was a little surprised it was not really surprised because yeah, he is such a good fighter, but how clearly so many people on our team, the junkie side, leaned his route.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's only maybe a few of us that went Bahio.
Interesting.
So which makes me always double
check,
guess
second
myself.
guess yourself.
Yeah.
Mauricio Rufy versus Benoit Saint Denis.
Rufy
all day, right?
That one was not hard for me to pick that one.
I like that one.
Not saying that Benoit's tough as all get out. I'm just that high on Rufy right now.
I agree.
I think that team there is just ready to fucking have a great night.
I agree, man. Yeah. That's gonna be. Can you imagine that main and co-main event in France, in front, silencing the crowd over there?
They would have a fun little bit about it at the end too.
Yep.
I'm sure they would, turn it around and make it fun, but not in a way where they would never get invited back to France. They're enough to play with it and keep it fun, talk a little trash, build a little, rivalry for the future, but they're not going to be like Colby where they're like, you can't go back into that country.
Exactly.
I think they would have a lot of fun. So part of me is like kind of thinking like, I want to see it happen just to see how they address the crowd.
Yeah, because they'll be more like, thanks for having us here, but we took over, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes.
Rufy showed up to the media day with a gold chain that had $50K written on it. And
oh, nice.
Pretty cool. He's like, now I will say this fight. I hate the fight, Modestas Bukauskas versus Paul Craig. I love it. But I hate it. I just like both those guys. Two of the nicest dudes ever.
It's tough because I hate when our staff picks get shown on them because I did not go Paul Craig.
You went Bukauskas?
I did.
Wow. I get it, man. I totally get it. It's a tough one. I will always like Paul Craig a lot. And Paul Craig, and again, he's being a little hopeful, but he is right. He talked about, look, I'm not in a position now. He's like, but, I get a couple wins in my back pocket, or I get a couple wins, rolling. He's like, I've got that skip the queue line in my back pocket where, beating Ankalaev in the last second, we've got some history. He's like, so, and you know what, man? It's far-fetched, but it is something you could sell, right? You know what I mean? Like, if for whatever reason he won 2 or 3 in a row and then Magomed was still the champ and he's like, there's only one thing I have left to do. That one loss has bothered me so much. That 1 second has bothered me so much that I need to avenge that and show the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that he does, but you could sell it.
It's a stretch, but yeah, it's sellable.
I don't think it's happening, but you could sell it. But I like Paul so much.
Yeah, he's such a good dude.
I love the fact, too, that he's basically just lays out that, like, I never even envisioned I would be around this long. Like I thought it was going to be like one contract and done, but at least I could say I got into the UFC.
He does some of the best interviews, just honest and open. It's so much fun.
He's the
best. Much respect for him.
Mason Jones versus Balaji Oki. I went Mason Jones here. I like Mason Jones a lot. I've just always felt like he's an underrated guy. I was actually shocked when he left the UFC. Now he's back. He had to win last time out. I went with him on that one. So Patricio Pitbull is here against Los Sinquita, who I can tell you the World MMA Awards when we were when all the debate was going on about who the international fighter of the year was. Losin's name was like right behind it. Didn't get the international fighter of the year, but was right behind it in the voting. So that's a name that a lot of people over there definitely are high on, and rightfully so. He's very entertaining. And by the way, I'll be honest, I didn't know it until I looked at the card. I didn't even know Brett Tavares was on this card.
Yeah,
but I love it.
Because he's way down there.
Because he's way down there, so I was looking at the main card, but I'm like, good for Brad, man. I love Brad to get those opportunities.
Such a nice dude.
He is.
And then Renat. I mean, it's a good card. It's from top to bottom. This is a fun card, but you're right. I mean, there's a lot of new people that I think people, if they're not aware, it's worth tuning in just because you're going to see some fighters that I think are the future.
I love it.
Of the company for sure.
I'm starting to lose control of my facilities here, so I won't keep you around much longer. I've tried to keep the coughing to a minimum, but I can feel more coming on. A couple things real quick. It's not really surprised, not really big news, but I do think it's worth noting the TKO extending the partnership with T-Mobile Arena, so now through 2030. So that's 4 events per year.
4 UFC events, 2 wrestling
2 WWE.
Yep.
I mean, for us that are here in Las Vegas, there's just really no alternative. There's been discussions over the past several years about building another arena here, but none of them have gotten done. So there's nowhere else to go. Like, the same company owns Mandalay Bay and MGM Grand Garden Arena.
Yep.
Both of those are decades older in terms of infrastructure, suites, seating. So there's no other place they'd go other than T-Mobile. So it's kind of just all right. But anyway,
Yeah.
at least you're going there. I did want to give a shout out to the Bo Nickel versus Rodolfo Vieira booking at Madison Square Garden. I thought that was the perfect matchup, and I think it shows me that the UFC is not completely giving up on Bo Nickel. They're like, you know what? We'll put you at Madison Square Garden, and we'll give you a grappler. So it shows me that they're still in the Bo Nickel business a little bit. You know what I mean?
As they should.
As they should be. And you did see, it seems like the fighter payouts from the big settlement are going to start going out later this month. So I thought that was good to see that people started to get some check. And you saw the
some
report.
new cars, I'm sure. New cars, some new shoes. Maybe a new house in there or something.
Don't waste it all. So that Anderson Silva's getting $10 million.
Is he really?
$10 million.
Yeah.
I
mean, for a guy that was the face of the company, you know, I mean, like, I really don't. That doesn't surprise me. Then that's probably not the worst.
No, I think that's probably a good thing because I had heard a lot of the reason why he kept fighting was he had gone through a very significant portion of his career earnings, which makes sense. If you remember, he used to roll like
deep.
50 people deep.
Yep.
I mean, we'd hear stories of like, I think he like, obviously the UFC gets you your room or whatever, and he'd be like, I'll take 2 floors of the MGM Grand. Like, that can't be cheap.
No.
You know, even if they're giving you, even if they're like, hey, we'll give you our contract deal or whatever. Like, can't be good. So I'm happy for him that he's getting $10 million. So good place for him. And last thing I'll say is NFL season starts tonight. It is the Cowboys and the Eagles. So I have been getting roasted tremendously by all my CFFC counterparts. They're all Philadelphia Eagles supporters because they all kind of live in that area. In fact, Rob Hadak is actually a season ticket holder, and so they've been harassing me. Rob will actually be here this weekend, so maybe we can get together and have a frosty beverage or something. Our heavyweight champ, Anthony Garasio, is fighting on Dana White's Contender Series on Tuesday, so looking forward to that. Obviously, anybody that goes through the Contender Series, great one this past weekend. David McGoyan had a great fight, but when there are reigning, like anybody that comes, you know me, I'm a CFFC homer, bad. Anybody that fights for us, I'm cheering for him, but especially when they're a reigning champion that goes in. So we've got Anthony Garasio coming up. We'll have Luke Fernandez in October as well. I'm a little bit even more excited about it, so I'm pumped up from a man Garasio. So anyway, that's about as much as I can get through today without just completely obliterating everybody's
I think you did good.
So,
I think you did good.
Appreciate everybody for putting up with my sickness. Hopefully your battle wound heals up over there.
Yeah. And I donated blood, by the way. That's why I'm all wrapped up.
Contributing member of society.
That's it.
And hopefully I will be not so ill next time we speak. We'll get together on Monday. For all the folks that are at patreon.com/MMA Roadshow for a little and a half. I can't even do it.
That's awesome.
I knew that was going to hurt. In the meantime, everybody else, thanks for listening.